After looking at all the trailers and diving into each of these games, I have my top 5 PlayStation games from their showcase. At number 5, I've got Immortals of Avium. This is being called a magic shooter. It feels like Doom, but it looks like Elder Scrolls. All these spells have a lot of different colors and a lot of different effects. It's gonna be bright and cool. The thing that's really winning me over though is the voice actors. Specifically, we've got Gina Torres. She's from Firefly and Matrix. I'm hoping this is the beginning of a really big franchise. At number 4, I've got the Plucky Squire. This is a mix of 2D and 3D. And specifically in this trailer, we saw that the 3D world is actually going to bend into more 2D platforms, not just a storybook. Like for example, you could probably go to a wallpaper and then join the wallpaper and have an adventure there. This gives me Zelda's meets Cuphead vibes. At number 3, I've got Assassin's Creed Mirage. Best thing about this is back to basics. We're in a big city and stealth is our main tool. They've talked about how they wanted to emphasize parkour movement again, much like in the first 4 Assassin's Creed games. We also see that we have options. Somebody says you need to kill that guy and we can go in stealth, or we can just kill everybody in the room. It's a small detail, but it's one of my favorite things in gaming. Wildlands has it, all the old Assassin's Creeds have it. Sometimes you just gotta jump in and kill a guy. And other times you're like, archers first, everybody on the ground, then that dude. Lastly, this is gonna be taking place in 9th century Baghdad, which is a beautiful setting. My number 2 is Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Remake. This is probably the most iconic game from the franchise, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But I've got a friend who just is crazy for it. I talked to him about the game, and he says one of the best features is that you don't just heal yourself with a potion. You literally have to bandage up whatever wound you've gotten. It kind of feels like Red Dead Redemption. You're not just shooting your way through the world, you're actually living in it. This will actually be my first Metal Gear Solid game, and I'm very excited to dive in. They also announced the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which will have their first 3 games. And my number 1 is definitely Spider-Man 2. We're gonna get Kraven the Hunter as our main villain, and he's hunting both heroes and villains throughout New York. Speaking of New York, the map is double the size of the first game. And when we see that map that shows all the heroes and villains, we have confirmation that Wraith is out there. She was Yuri from the first game, and she kind of collapsed into darkness. She was struggling with the police's ineffectiveness in her eyes. Miles looks like he's got more of his electricity abilities, plus that drone is going to be a really good sidekick for him. And Peter's in the symbiote suit, which is going to unlock all kinds of new cool abilities with him, and his personality is changing. We're going to see him do things that Spider-Man would not do normally. And we know from an earlier trailer that Venom is in this. I think Kraven's our first villain, Venom's the big one. Let me know what your guys' favorite announcement from the PlayStation Showcase was.